Welcome, episode 10. I'm still Jay.
And I'm still Brendan.
What kind of Brendan?
The still kind.
The Chinese Brendan.
Chinese Brendan.
Still
Hey.
Chinese Brendan. We have a couple guests here, actually.
Yeah, this is our Microbrand
So,
part
little
1
packed.
episode.
And we have two dudes in our casting couch.
This is our casting couch. We got Saul and Madison.
Hi, Madison. We're
Hi,
sharing a
Saul.
mic.
Yeah, they're
Doing
sharing
a lot
a
of
mic.
things tonight.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
So I guess
And also, we have a live audience.
we do have Papa
Papa
Ledoux
Ledoux
on here.
Papa Ledoux, my father.
So we'll start off with Saul, which is our returning guest. The grand
loser,
loser
the
of
grand
Watch
loser.
Dojo. Lost against Josh.
I'm going to win the loser's bracket. Just you wait.
He spent a week with the Nodus Sector Dive Pearl. And he is a recent cat dad.
Cat Daddy.
Congrats.
Right?
Cat Daddy Cycles?
That's right. And then we have over here Alex. He's a first-time guest, not a first-time listener. He's been asking to be on the show for a while. This is the first one, but we're gonna have him a couple times, I'm sure. He spent a week with the Visitor Duneshore Shallows, which is, I think, the most weird-looking watch, most different that we have. He works in real estate and has a wife that is out of his league and an adorable dog.
Did you add out of his league or did he?
No.
Because that's a little rough.
No,
Come
I'm
on.
I'm batting way above average.
Dude,
bro.
no. Look on the script. You'll see it. It's on there.
Jesus.
You got to get what you can take, right?
That's right. And then we
Take
have
what you can get. What am I saying?
we have over here Madison, who is a new guest. I've been friends with this guy for over a decade, and
New to watch
been a
us
rough
too.
decade.
It was. It's been a rough
I'm
day.
sorry
Fuck
for
you.
you, Madison.
It's been. I met him because of video games, actually.
Legends.
League of Legends.
Ew.
Yeah.
Is that the game where you kill the dragon a bunch?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, lots of dragons.
Well, you try.
Yes. He spent a week with the DuFrane City Limits, and it's a GMT watch. And another info about him is he tried to use this watch as a conversation starter on Tinder dates.
We're gonna find out how
We'll find out about that.
bet.
And then we have Brendan, who also participated on our.
I have
Michael
long
episode.
hair.
He's a really clingy co-host.
Please don't leave me. Don't leave me.
He likes calling FaceTime only on weird hours of the night. And
2 a.m.
Also
just
doesn't
to
like
check on him.
and also doesn't like it when I hang out with other friends that he wasn't invited to.
Yeah.
He does not like that. He's a really cool guy though, super nice. Definitely scored 17 on his AQ test.
Oh,
What did you get, Jay?
26.
And I got 24.
Yeah, we should link that. It's the
We will
Asperger's
link this-
quotient test.
It's to
Autism
see
quotient.
how far you are
autism.
Keep it accurate.
Okay.
on
Whoops.
the autism scale. And he spent a week with the Vero Broadway, Rose City, which he actually specifically asked for.
I wanted to try it out.
I'll go ahead and thank the 4 brands that are that have participated with us today, which are Vero Watches, who also sent us some dope fucking merch. I'm not gonna lie, the jacket that they sent me has gotten so many compliments, and I had to keep telling everyone it's not like a fashion or lifestyle brand, it's a fucking watch company. Also DuFrane Watches, which is Brandon's boss, Steven, who will be.
It's the Austin backyard microbrand.
That's right.
our own
We will
backyard
be going
microbrand.
with him to Chicago for Wind Up Chicago in July. We also have Visitor Watches, and I'd like to thank them because, in my opinion, they had the best packaging. No, the best carry case. They're the only ones that sent a carry case that actually doubles as. I don't know if that's what they ship their watches on. And Nodus, thanks to Cullen and Wes for always actually being a part of the community. They're a super community-centric brand, and they listen, talk to their community, and it's actually something that I believe that they are on top of. On top of that, I guess thanks for letting us fucking abuse your watches. I know not all brands were down with this project. And-
Rolex.
Yeah, the small microbrand Rolex. How dare they? There were brands that just were down with it. Then they, assuming this is assumption, that they listened to an episode over the weekend and said no.
Should we say who it was?
I'm gonna go ahead and say it, dude. It's Aventi.
Yeah.
Aventi agreed that they're like, oh, they were on board with it, and then they're over the weekend. They're like, oh, we'll get back to you on Monday, and I was like, oh, fine.
Well, that's
And
fine. I
then-
don't want to review a
ahead.
Sapphire Crystal with like case with like a cheap Chinese movement and that has like dirt and crustaceans growing on it. But,
Imagine
you know.
paying $12,000 for a watch that will resell for $300. All right.
That hurts.
Well, there's brands also that just didn't want to participate. I'm not gonna name y'all. That one event, it just stung a little bit. I thought we had.
I
something
thought we're on the
special.
same wavelength,
Wavelength.
but
This is a round table, essentially round table style. We're gonna do pros and cons of the watches you guys wore for the week, and we'll give you guys the floor, talk about it, all that shit, and we'll start with Saul, and then Alex, Madison, and Brendan. Order of fattest ass to smallest.
All right, let's go.
I have the smallest ass.
Yeah. Go ahead, Saul.
Well, what do I start with?
Maybe
Anything?
introduction yourself.
All
a
right.
bit.
My name is Saul.
Put the right there, right
I'm
there.
Saul, as y'all heard. I wore this Nodus Sector for about 2 weeks. What really baffled me about this is objectively, nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Timekeeping is basically as good as the Black Bay 58. I never let it die. I never had to wind again. It kept up the whole time. Not too thick. Got a cool case design. One thing that really surprised me is screwing in the crown. I was wearing my Milgauss today. I had to wind that, so I had to screw back in the crown. Feels pretty gritty on the Milgauss. The Nodus, I'll pass it around so y'all can unscrew it and
Wait,
screw
seriously?
it in. It's like actually ridiculously smooth when you screw the crown in. Like the threading is like, I don't know what the hell they did, but there's like baby oil in it that like you don't feel it grinding or anything. It's really good though. Yeah, so I like it. The clasp is nice, the bracelet's nice, little beads of rice. My only gripe with it is I just don't like that specific colorway, that specific version of the watch, but they have a bazillion different versions on their website.
Is it the black?
It's a black bezel. Yeah.
Bezel.
I think any dial with the black bezel I wouldn't like. But I was looking online, the Sector Pilot Flyer with the kind of copper
Is that
dial.
the salmon one?
Yeah, salmon-y copper dial with the steel bezel. It's like $475, and
It's the same price.
yeah, I kind of want to get one because it looks good. But yeah, that Nodus is, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
As far as comparisons go, you got any comparisons? Like, what would you compare it to closest to a watch you already own?
I mean, I've got like an SKX and a Seiko's Samurai. Just purpose-wise, I think those are pretty similar, but the Nodus wears a lot better. It's a lot smaller diameter and thickness than those, and arguably has better specs if you kind of look into it. I mean, Seiko movements are good, but this, for the price and the unique design, is awesome. And the loom is actually pretty sick. It's all blue except the minute hand, which is green.
Oh,
Yeah.
they did the Omega thing.
Yeah, for less than a tenth of the price.
Yeah, what's the price point on this one?
$475.
Really?
Yeah. I have a Nodus. I got one for free when they came down to
when they
Austin.
came
yeah,
down.
and they
We
gave
miss
it
you guys.
to-
Come back.
Yeah, please. Yeah, that's one thing. Wes and Colin are some really cool dudes.
Yeah.
They're
So-
deep in the community.
Saul, tell us about the specs on this watch. What's the
You can find that on the website because I don't have it memorized.
We keep it
except for the
real.
price. Yeah, no, I
it's a
mean,
sapphire crystal?
I would
Oh,
assume.
so
I don't have
do-
any scratches.
I
on
have
it.
a question on for this. So the way that the lugs are at the end, they kind of
They don't dig into me at all.
they don't.
No,
dig in,
no.
'cause
They look sharp.
It, like it's sharp and you can
well,
feel it.
so
over
look at this, the watch's profile. The lugs come out from like the very mid case, so there's still room from the case back that lifts it above your wrist. So there's nothing like very low to actually dig into your wrist.
So it's comfortable?
Yeah, it's actually really comfortable. The beads of rice bracelet just drapes.
Doesn't
Perfectly.
catch your hair at all? Or
Nah,
anything?
and I got that
He has a
Mexican
fine
hair.
hair.
Yeah. The Casios catch all that type of stuff catches, but that Nodus is. I'm really thinking about this Sector Flyer. Just it's pretty cool.
Go NH38.
Oh, there you
Is the
go.
movement on it?
Seiko on Seiko.
It's an NH38.
Well, I don't know how they managed to make it thinner and smaller than Seiko, but they did it.
So at $475, would you buy this watch?
Not that exact one, but different dial and bezel, yes.
The bezel, the black bezel, I think it's a little too strong.
That's
To me, it's a little
I mean, it's a
strong.
cool idea to have the contrast with the bright white dial. It's just when it's all black like that, like, you know, it's
There's
not.
it doesn't break. Like
Yeah.
if there was, I think, paint.
Yeah, or like steel around the edge or something.
Yeah.
Like it's not a bezel and bezel insert type of thing. It's all of it's one piece.
Oh, I see it.
But again, objectively, the crown also feels really good. It's nice knurled, all this grippy material.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, would
Better-
recommend.
Better feedback than I thought Saul would provide.
Oh,
I'm not
come
gonna
on.
lie.
No, Nodus is cool. I like them a lot.
I know, me too.
Cool
I
people,
really do
cool
like 'em.
watches.
And as far as their founders, Wes and Cullen, like I've spoken about before, they're very into the community, and they listen to the community. And if there's any participation at all that is asked of them, they're
Right.
all hands on deck.
I mean, that's partially a big part of why you go for a microbrand is get a Seiko for the same price that
that's right.
fulfills the same thing, but you don't have a person behind it that's
Yeah.
actually putting their heart into it like Wes and Colin are.
Yeah, you're not gonna talk to Seiko-san.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
You're not gonna talk to
You're not
Hattori.
gonna talk
Yeah.
to Seiko-san because you can't. But you can talk to the owners.
Hey,
of
you just
Micros.
message him on
I don't think you can
Instagram.
talk to Seiko-san because he doesn't exist. That person's not.
You're telling me Seiko-san doesn't exist. I'm pretty sure we covered.
Who's
this
Jay
on
sending money
episode-
to every week?
We covered this on episode 8.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Seiko-san.
If you want to listen to that episode and you're maybe high as
self-plug.
hell, yeah.
That is some low. Okay, that's cool
Yeah.
to hear.
Packaging is all right on it. I mean, it's this box kind of makes me really feel like they put all their effort and money
Into
into
the
the
watch.
watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I do like good packaging. Like you're saying, the Visitor one is insane. But also for that price, it's like, yeah, who cares? It's an awesome
gonna wear
watch. Yeah.
You're gonna wear it. Okay, thanks. So
Oh, thanks, Saul. Thanks for being a part of our experiment.
So do I,
yeah, I'm gonna thank him
I
again
get to
later.
keep it or something? Or what?
No.
Do I become a brand ambassador
I
now,
mean,
or
Who's sponsoring this episode, by the way?
who's sponsoring? Actually, go ahead. Do you want to say it, or I
So
will?
the sponsor of this episode is Papa Ledoux, because without him, I wouldn't be here.
Without Papa Ledoux's nutsack, there would literally be no Watch Cringe podcast.
No Chinese Brendan.
No Chinese Brendan. Well,
No
he's
Chinese
responsible
Brendan.
for the white part. So.
Oh, okay.
The Chinese would be there, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
We're gonna thank him again later.
Yeah,
but
we'll thank
let's
him
move
again.
on to Alex, who had the Visitor, the Duneshore, and which, in my opinion, before Alex starts, I think. So I did peek at every watch. I didn't wear it or anything. I took a look and wanted to see what they look like. And to me, the Visitor Duneshore was the most unique. It didn't follow any normal normal case shape, normal bracelets. It's different in its own. It kind of carves its own path. And I think that's
It
why
is out
people like
there.
Visitor.
It
It's
is
because
out
it's
there.
super out there. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to Alex. Go ahead.
What's up, team? Alex here. You know, I've been dying to get on this podcast, and this is my first chance. I can assure you, not my last. All right.
Hopefully not. Yeah, we'd love to. We love your energy.
I first have a question for Jay and/or Brendan. Give me, because I'm just now thinking about this. Give me something on this brand. How do you know the guy? What's the story? I've only been wearing it for a week, but I now want to know.
Oh, okay. So I actually met the brand the same time Saul met the brand during it was a watch thing in Austin.
AHCI, I think.
It's
Was it
AWCI, right?
AWCI, yeah.
It's the American Watch and Clockmakers Institute. They had an event in Austin, and one of our friends had a booth there. He was selling watches and was right next to Visitor. And this is where we met him. And they had a watch. To me, that was the coolest. It was like a watch that the movement was covered with like a pocket watch thing, right? I've never seen any watch company out that's in the price range of fucking normalcy have this. I met him there, and I didn't really keep in touch with him until Chris, one of our members of our watch group, of which everyone in this room is a part of. And he had one for himself, and he was like, yeah, I backed them in Kickstarter. And I was like, okay, fuck, this is so cool. And stowed away that memory until recently when I reached out to him to be a part of the project. And they were super into it. They were the very first watch to come in.
Hell yeah.
That's how I know him.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks for the background there. All right, I'll jump right in here. At first I did not know what to think. I wish this was one of the video podcasts. I know we got a quick hint of it on the live feed, but it's bizarre looking. It's absolutely bizarre looking. I feel like I ask myself this one question. I swear to God, it might be every single day. I'll look at somebody's wrist and ask myself, what the fuck are you wearing? And this would directly fall into that category. So my initial thoughts were, what is this? What am I looking at? But it really grew on me in just a week span. It gives me even though I've never owned a Panerai, I've put on many Panerais, it gives me a very Paneristi type feel
I
to
get
it.
that. I see it.
It's like 44 millimeters. It's kind of thick. I mean, there's no crown guard or anything like that, but it's an interesting piece. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Jay. There is nothing else like it. The options that you only sent me 2 options. I was kind of last to the table here. but
He's not wrong.
it's like I was last in line for the podcast. But, the other option you sent was kind of like an ode to the blue bezel sub. I mean, yeah, this was its own thing. I picked it. I'm glad I picked it. I played golf in it. I played basketball in it. In this short week, everything went fine. Similar to Saul, it never stopped running either. I really am thoroughly impressed. 2 things that bugged me, especially for a dive watch, the loom is almost non-existent.
Really?
I mean,
No, I believe you.
I can hold it up to this light here. You can see it looks like it'd be
It would be.
kick-ass
It
loom.
looked like it would be loud.
But it's not. Like I was expecting like my Marine Master type loom,
You can't
just
match
light
the
up the whole
Master
damn
loom,
room.
bro.
That and the pointer on the bezel does not line up perfectly.
That would tilt.
Seiko style, man.
Seiko. It's
Seiko.
a Seiko, baby.
It's a Seiko. You know what? I'm looking at my notes here. I'm a total loser. I had explained before the episode. I had made I have an entire notebook page of notes. I think that's about it. It's a little heavy, but I enjoy the rubber strap with it. Very comfortable. And it does its job. 200 meters water resistance, screw down crown, of course. The noise on the bezel is
Jackhammer.
Thick
It
and
is.
hardy.
It almost reminds me of my docks, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
The bezel sound, at least. But that's all I got. I'm open to questions, and I greatly appreciate the opportunity.
I do actually have a question for you off the cuff. Is how was the boxing for it? Because I know I mentioned it. It's not a box, right?
It's not a box. It is how would you describe?
It's a travel case.
It's a travel case. It's a cylinder,
Yeah.
and you can fit 2 other
like
watches
the
in
inside is like
here. Yeah.
super. Yeah, it's like velvet.
It is a good deal. I could throw my 2 other Seikos in here. No, it's decent. I mean, it's decent. I saw this thing. I'm telling you, I just can't reiterate this enough. It's like I saw this thing and I was a little frightened. I'll be honest, but I'm impressed. I mean, when you change your mind about someone in particular, that's how I felt about this watch. Kind of how I felt about Jay when I first met Jay. I saw the
respect
guy. I looked at the guy. I'm like, who is this fucking guy?
Who's this cringy bastard?
You know what's dude? It's so funny because we met at a fucking Starbucks, and it was so shady.
It was so shady. But
Wait,
yeah.
why did you guys meet though? At
No.
a Starbucks?
We met at Vlad's.
We met at Vlad's first, but then to join the group, remember you have
Oh,
to,
you have to do the interview.
you have to do
okay.
it. Yeah.
Did he
I
make
thought you were doing some weird,
you
like,
buy him
Craigslist.
coffee?
No, he for damn sure he did. He
Yeah.
sold me the original Marine
Yeah.
Master I had, and I went on to get the OG Marine Master. But I lost a couple $100 on that deal, but that's all right.
Jay, you're
stay winning,
feasting off
baby.
the members of Wiz
stay
512. Jesus.
But
512 is a little dirty, man.
Yeah, I like it though.
both Jay, Brendan, and Visitor, I greatly appreciate the opportunity, and I'm happy to be here. Open any more questions.
Oh, go ahead. Do you have any?
Well, I when I look at it, 2 things stick out. One, it kind of the hinges or the lugs, they look like hinges. It's like a
Yeah.
very weird
can
aesthetic.
confirm it's all either fountain pen or dip pen inspired.
Oh,
the lugs, the tips of the hands are all inspired
Is that
by
actually
Yeah.
what the
I should have brought a
inspiration is
fountain
from?
pen with me today, but yeah, like the lugs from the side are the exact profile of a
you're
fountain
right.
pen nib.
It's bizarre. It also, and then the second thing is it reminds me of the USSR style watches, Vostok. That's sort of like out there. You know, they kind of were a Kermit for a while and designing their own, you know, designs completely unattached left field. It kind of reminds me of that. Very space
Very
inspired.
nice.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll even talk about it even some more after we go through.
Yeah, this is
Actually, the next person I have is Madison. So I'll preface this by saying that one, Madison is not a watch guy. He came into this project as a normie,
yeah.
right?
Very much a normie.
Get closer.
Yeah,
to
you
the
can
mic.
bring that mic.
Yeah. So yeah, like I was saying, Madison's not a watch guy. He's new to the whole world of it. Like the only thing I think he knows is that it tells time. That
Hey now.
it doesn't have a battery.
I did my homework.
He did. This guy is
Hell yeah.
methodical with
like
his
this.
homework because Brendan knows because we all play games together, and Madison is.
Oh my God! Yeah,
he's
he
in
leads.
2 miles away from us, but he's watching.
He's watching. He's observing. He's really reading all the release notes of each patch that comes out.
Calling the shots where they are.
Yeah.
They call me the Rat King.
Oh,
is the
that's
Rat King.
right. He is the Rat
King.
King. But yeah, so he's not a watch guy. He came into this, and I wanted to bring him into this because he isn't a watch guy. It's someone that's from outside. Like, what do you end up thinking? You know, after having a watch,
The outsider's
the
perspective.
outsider's perspective, after a week, a little longer than a week, like curious. So pass it over to Madison, man.
Hi, thank you. I really appreciate it, Jay. And thank you to Stephen Lee of DuFrane Watches. This opportunity has been really monumental in my life, being the first watch I was ever given to really try out and experience. And it's changed my perspective of these sweaty nerds.
Oh, a little thing though. It's Madison is not into watches. His mom is.
Yes, both my parents have a taste for some of the finer things in life, and Jay and my mom had a collision at my son's baby shower where she saw his watch and asked him about it, and next thing you know, they're off over there having a glass of whiskey and just talking watches together.
Did that make you feel uncomfortable? Because Jay just, you don't know what he's
dog.
capable of.
Glorious.
Oh, my mom doesn't look at any man under 6 foot, so it's all good.
Ouch. Ouch.
Oh
Ouch.
shit!
Ouch.
All right, but back to the meat and potatoes.
podcast there.
Back to
to
Madison.
DuFrane.
Sorry to mess up your flow.
This all started from an invitation to go to a watch event, and I joined these lads at Steve Lee's home here in Austin, and we get to go and experience his watch shop. It was a very unique experience. Originally greeted by Steven at the door, I had no idea who I'm meeting, and soon learned about his passion project, which is DuFrane watches. And the more I talked to Steven and heard his story and listened to the guys, and we all shared a glass of whiskey and ate some cheese and meats at his house, I realized this wasn't a man's hobby. This wasn't his, weekend warrior adventure. This was the culmination of his life's passions into a watch brand. Steve was a pilot early in his career and fell in love with watches at the age of 8 years old after his mom gifted him a nice watch, and he really learned about mechanical watches as a kid from his mother and his grandmother. So DuFrane is his mother's maiden name, which he named the company in honor of her, and that alone stood out to me as, oh wow, this was really impactful in his life. And the designs of the watches are all centered around the Austin cultural scene. So the watch I got was the City Limits, and many of you may have heard of ACL or Austin City Limits, a famous music venue that goes on every year here, festival. And this watch in particular was designed to embody that culture. How does it do that? Well, it's kind of a classy casual watch. And we're looking at a brushed, polished marine grade steel coated exterior with a screw down crown and double sealed tube. We're looking at 200 meters of water resistance, so you can take this outdoors or in the shower or go work, wash the dishes for those of you at home.
Why'd you look at Brendan?
You know what?
What the hell? Okay, I'll take that.
The wash dishes bit. Yeah.
Hey, I wash dishes. I'm Chinese Brennan.
But all these specs are really anything you're going to hear from a lot of other brands. What stood out in its difference was the two straps it came with. There was a leather and a rubber. And I originally wore it with the leather one, which had a hand-woven pattern on it. And the pattern is very similar to what would be like a guitar strap. And when I mentioned it, Steven actually pointed out that that was his idea behind it. And it hit me right there how much he is really designing this with the people in mind, because it just kind of looks like a New Mexico or Southwestern vibe to the watch strap. Very casual, yet classy in the way it wraps around your hand. It would be great to wear out to a concert or to dinner or anywhere around Austin, really.
So real quick,
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
piggyback off that to dinner. I know that you mentioned that you were gonna bring
no.
this as a conversation starter to girls,
Yes,
to
yes.
girls on Tinder, and actually to realistic, not I guess realistic, but surprising results. Like a ton of chicks messaged him.
Let's go.
Hey, can I?
Just to preface, they didn't message about the watch. It wasn't in my profile picture, but
No, not the first messages you send me of screenshots of girls asking, "Yo, that's."
Oh yeah, I did have some Instagram traction as soon as I posted pictures of the watch. There was a lot of thirst out there, so.
Damn, so that's a thirst trap watch, huh?
Well, I can post selfies all day and get no traction. I post a watch and they just come pouring in.
Hell yeah. Everybody hear that?
Yo, go buy some DuFrane right now.
What a way to get into the hobby.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I do have to preface though, it's all about the execution, and that's where I failed with this experiment. So the Tinder date I ended up going on was an accidental swipe right. And that may sound tragic in and of itself, but the date itself was fine. I was the one that really screwed it up by the awkward times I kept looking at my wrist and checking the time, which brought on
man.
the question of, do you have somewhere to be?
Are you bored?
Yeah, and it looked
But you
like
just
I was,
loved
I was-
looking at the new piece, right?
I tried to play it off, and I couldn't play it off, so I just said, hey, this watch was a gift to me as part of a project, and I'm kind of doing a review on it, and it's a podcast. No, the date was dead in the water right there.
Oh, man.
God, you hate to hear it.
Jeez.
Later that night, I got a message back from her, and it just simply said, what a waste of my time. And I said, did you say it like that for the irony?
There you go.
No response. That one's out.
That's a quick.
But all in all, it was a great experience. Wearing it out was really cool, and I really enjoyed it. It became something that I didn't want to leave the house without.
That's awesome.
I transitioned to the rubber strap after a couple days of the leather, and originally one of my complaints was going to be that I couldn't like go out working out or jog. But once I transitioned to the rubber strap, it was way more comfortable, way more usable in any of those environments, without the leather just being a little bit rigid, and I didn't really want the leather to get sweaty. So that was there was an easy swap out. I didn't have to watch a single YouTube video. I just used the tool that came with the box.
Someone that was new to watches, you were able to execute a.
Oh
swap
yeah,
of it.
able to execute the swap, easy enough.
I like that.
It worked out pretty well. There was one other thing I wanted to mention, and it was the one-of-a-kind record pattern dial. So when you look at this watch, it's got a gray sort of center that pans out into a deep black. And it's got various elevations that form circles around it. And it's designed to look like an old record that you'd see on a record player.
Very Austin.
Very Austin, a nice vibe. It really it's a conversation starter as far as I was concerned, because people would look at it and be like, oh, what's this? And then I could just jump into the story behind DuFrane and why this watch was important. I really do want to purchase one for myself, but there is something that kind of came up for me beforehand that I'm going to end up giving one of these as a gift to my best friend. His name's Michael, and we've known each other since middle school. His birthday was a few months ago, and I didn't get him a gift. And so I'm playing catch up here, and I've been trying to get him something important because we've been friends for over 20 years. and I've decided to get him a DuFrane. They're very reasonably priced. They range anywhere from about $4.99 upwards to $1,200. And I'll definitely go with a $4.99 because he's that.
He's not that good a friend, right?
The best part is you can make that watch, so you could tell him you made the watch.
Yeah. I do want to.
That's another
go
thing,
through.
yeah.
Cannot forget to call that out. DuFrane will let you come to the workshop and hand put together your own watch. It's a unique experience you really can't get anywhere else. Maybe with some of the Microbrands outside of state, but not locally. It's a really awesome experience. So that's what I'm going to do for my friend Michael. And it's really just one of those things that I thought it would be a great way to commemorate our friendship. You know, they say that a best friend isn't the one you spend the most time with, but it's the one you spend the best time with, which is why I choose DuFrane.
Oh,
Damn. Salute to that.
Holy shit. Yo, Steven, did you fucking just hear that bit?
Steven, did you pay this man?
Is this guy getting paid? That had to have been the best.
Hey, so
Holy
Madison, I gotta ask you. I gotta ask you. Are you looking to get a watch for yourself now? Are you looking to get into the hobby after this experience?
To get into the hobby, I don't know if I want to sell my soul yet. I still want to get married at some point, have a life. But
And a wallet and
I do
bank
have a new
account?
appreciation for the hobby, and I see the value and I see the beauty in the pieces, these handcrafted.
So you're gonna
works
stop
of-
making fun of us for liking watches now?
Oh no, I'll still make fun of it.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as someone from an outsider's perspective, I think it's like that's a fucking amazing way to see it. I don't even see watches that way anymore. And like that's how the hobby has fucked my head, that I can't appreciate it in the same sense that someone who's not
The pure
in
sense.
it, and which is like appreciation in its purest form, that you're able to truly enjoy it for what it is. That's amazing. And I'm really glad that you liked it. And I'm super excited for you to get a watch and to build one for Michael. I
Thank
don't
you.
even know who fucking Michael is,
Yeah.
but that motherfucker.
Awesome review.
Also,
Matt.
Steven is by far the coolest vegan I know.
That's true. He is a cool vegan, and he's a cool boss too.
He's a cool guy, man.
He makes
Thanks.
some good meatballs for.
He does. Thank you for bringing us to Chicago in July.
and paying for everything.
And paying for everything. Shout out to you, boss.
Thanks, boss. And Madison, thank you again for that
Thank
wonderful.
you again for that. Seriously.
That
Oh,
was
the
an
gratitude's
awesome
all
review.
mine, gentlemen. I appreciate
This-
the opportunity.
You guys are really, Alex and Madison, really making Saul.
What about me? What about me?
Dog
Saul
shit.
was just like, I kind of like to watch, but
This
he's a good
pretty-
opener. He's a
this-
good opener.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It
That's
can only
right.
get better. And
But get
now
ready-
we're gonna go back downhill to
Jesus.
Brand.
No. Get ready for the headline. Actually, we're going fucking higher up.
Dude, the meat and potatoes with fucking Madison and Alex. Jesus.
Yeah, that was inspiring.
All right. So, lastly, as far as the watch, like for the week, before I go ahead and have Brendan start, I was actually supposed to have a Microbrand watch. I was supposed to have the Dietrich SD1 that never came in because FedEx lost it. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and pass the baton over to Brendan.
Hey guys, it's your
And,
warm, lovely co-host,
Yeah, honestly,
Brendan.
good luck. You're not topping Alex or
Yeah, we'll see-
Madison.
we'll see about
You're
that.
topping probably Soul. And that's even questionable.
No, we'll see about that. Hi guys, my name is Brendan. I'm here to talk to you about a company called Vero. So Vero is a microbrand established in Portland, Oregon in 2015 by a man named Chris Boudreau. And the brand name actually means truth in Esperanto, which is an international language created in the late 19th century by some Polish dweeb, because he wanted some like international language. But apparently 100,000 people speak it. So I guess this,
like to this day.
yes. And so I guess Chris is one of those people.
Cap.
Okay. So the company is inspired by athletic and rugged approaches to their designs. The first wave of watches were actually locally sourced and manufactured in the US. In fact, they used to mill their cases in Katy, Texas, which is only a few hours away from Austin, kind of on the outskirts of Houston. They also used to produce their own dials in Portland, and then they would assemble and finish all the bits and pieces in Portland and regulate them too. recently they kind of shifted their approach to the watch market, and with their release, the Open Water series, Vero has decided to offshore the case making to Switzerland, not to China or Asia, but to Switzerland. And they still assemble and regulate their watches in Portland. And a lot, just like with DuFrane, a lot of their releases are named and inspired after places around Portland. So you get to buy a piece of Portland to wear on you wherever you go.
Hold up, isn't Portland just like a lesser Austin?
We're the ones that said keep Austin weird. We
They
came
have
up with that.
now in Portland. They'll keep,
Keep
Portland,
Portland
weird.
weird.
Bro, you need to
That's
calm
so
the fuck
fucking
down.
lame, dude.
That's so lame.
Yeah.
That's the worst part of the watch.
So that's very similar to DuFrane. So the watch that I chose to review was the Rose City Limited Edition Broadway Time Only watch. I believe it's actually a part of their Open Water series, and it's paying homage to Portland, which is nicknamed the City of Roses, or Rose City, for its annual Rose Parade and famous tea rose gardens. This watch is a stunning burgundy dial with a contrasting DLC-coated black bezel that has one of the most satisfying clicks I've ever felt in a watch. It feels like a jackhammer when you go around it, like in a good way, though. And it's probably going to be today's ASMR. The watch case and bracelet are stainless steel that gets entirely bead blasted for that matte finish. The appearance is refreshingly new and not trying to be a clone to any other watch, but it does share some design cues reminiscent of the Bulgari Octo Finissimo with regards to the muted colors and tones. Most people that I've worn this around think the case and bracelet are actually titanium due to that. But it's actually just due to the bead blasted finish. And once they pick it up, they realize how heavy it is, and they realize it's not titanium and it's actually 316L steel. So the emotions from this watch to me are soft and subdued. The burgundy dial is deep and quiet. The DLC bezel and crown are matte black. The bead blasted finish doesn't demand attention as a high polish would. The sharp angular case is brutalist in style. The finishes are forward thinking. And the vintage-inspired flat-link bracelet anchors its aesthetic to something more familiar and warm. To me, it's a good mix of the past and present.
Dude, this guy... Sorry, dude. You sound like you're reading an article.
I am Mr. Roboto.
I am actually...
From Warner Round.
I hate the school assignment.
Because I'm applying there next week. So this is my piece. This is my interview piece.
This guy, man.
All right, the specs. The Salida SW201, which is basically an ETA 2824 clone. The dash 1 indicates this watch has an improvement with the teeth of the ratchet wheel breaking off during winding, but apparently it's still not fixed, so careful when you wind it. This movement is popular, though. It's used in a lot of brands like Oris and Formex. The crystal is AR-coated sapphire. The bezel and crown are protected with diamond-like carbon finishes for that extra scratch resistance. For the lume, it's generous, copious amounts of superluminova on the indices, hands, and bezel inlay. The bracelet is fully articulated. It has 200 meters water resistance, stainless steel 316, 38-hour power reserve, and finally, the most impressive, I think, is the 10-year warranty. And apparently, from what I've read, they want it to be
hold on. You said
10-year warranty.
What the fuck?
So, and it's a no questions asked. So
No
apparently,
questions asked?
if it's just like even blemishing, like the finishes have worn off, they will like refinish it for you.
Are you serious?
That's what I've read. Yeah.
Yeah, 9 about to hit
Yeah.
10. You say as someone, some whatever.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So my take on this watch is, initially I thought the price point, which was $875, was a little steep for what it is, but considering the 10-year warranty, the cases are not made in Asia, they're made in Switzerland. They have a good movement in it. It kind of starts to make sense. What I've liked about it was the rich, deep tone of the dial, the bezel click. But I think there's a few improvements that they could make with this watch. So, number one, the marketing has to be a little better, because that Rose City story I told you about is nowhere on their website. They need to be able to expand that to people outside of Portland.
Where did you read that then?
I did some deep research.
What the fuck is deep research?
I don't know, Wikipedia.
You mean you found it on Wikipedia?
Yeah.
You found the Rosewater story in Wikipedia.
No, I found the nickname of the store and I linked it to what they were doing from all their other releases. The design elements of this watch that I don't like, super long end links and lugs. I think they need to rebalance the watch with the case. The bezel has a little too much going on. They have little minute markers that are in burgundy, and I don't like when watches do that 00 at the top. I wish they just do, kind of like a shape.
I actually like the 00.
Okay. Well, you're wrong, but and so they just, and there's they lose themselves when they have, I think, with the bezel and the different colored loom that they have, because they have a different colored loom for the handset and the indices, and it kind of takes away from the simplicity of the watch. Like when you look at the dial and the handset, it's time only, it's very simple, but all these other factors, you're like, hey, this is actually, the bezel is a little too busy, the loom is a little too much, in terms of, having the two different colored loom. So I would definitely change that about it. Bracelet as well is a little weird to use. It's kind of like one of those cheap Uncle Seiko bracelets, but like you have to kind of pull it from the sides rather than where you would normally yank it out. So it's just some of these odd things that I've picked up when I've been wearing it. So yeah, I mean, and also last but not least, I wanted to try this watch because I never had the chance to own or try on like a bead blasted finish, and it kind of reminds me of those houses in Austin that get flipped, that where the flippers just blast the entire house with like white paint, and they don't like put any workmanship in like the trim of the windows or the doorway or the roof. So it kind of has that vibe going, but I understand if you like a completely uniform texture, that also works. It's just not for me. But yeah, that's my review, guys, and I think that was maybe the best or second best reviews of today.
Mine was the best.
Fuck Jay, I think you crushed it, Brandon.
Hey, thank you, Alex.
on.
Thank you.
You don't gotta kid, bro. You're coming back after that shit.
Yeah,
It
thanks.
doesn't matter.
Thanks, Alex. Thank you.
Brendan's review was very good. I'll give it to you.
Thank you. I put
I'm not-
time in that. I put time in that.
I'm not putting you above Madison.
I think
or
Madison,
Alex.
yeah.
You are definitely above Saul.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not coming back on the show.
I'm sorry,
he is,
Weston
'cause he
Coleman.
has-
Oh yeah, you have to for the losers
The
bracket.
Losers bracket of Watch Dojo. But yeah, I mean, that was actually a lot better, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting it to be that good from all of y'all. Yeah, that was actually fantastic. Like we said, some of the notions and the points that they brought up were personal preferences, but actually most of them were not. I even wrote on my script thing that, remember, to say that it was mostly personal preferences, but it's not, like I said. So just one thing. I want to ask one thing. What stood out the most about the watch? Or the whole experience? Not just the watch, but the whole experience to y'all. I guess I'll start with Saul.
Just like I was saying when I was actually attempting to review the watch, the overall quality of it is just objectively insane. Like I said, the bracelet feels amazing, the clasp feels amazing, the bezel is pretty not amazing, but for $400-$500 it's amazing. The crown, super grippy, screws in really smooth, keeps same time, has awesome loom. Black bezel is the only thing I don't like, but that's a personal preference thing. I mean, it's just the quality on this thing.
Yeah.
If you like the design, go buy it. Yeah, go. There's literally
lot of
no
wash for
reason to
$400.
not buy it if you like it.
I love the beads of rice too. I really
Yeah.
do. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, I love
Real comfy and it looks pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I love rice. Brendan, what's
What
the
sticks
one
out the
thing-
most?
Yeah. What stuck out the most to you?
Honestly, the end links as a negative, but the bezel, it's like a fidget spinner. I just can't stop moving this thing, and I love it. I freaking love it. It makes me feel at peace. I feel like I'm getting centered, and I feel like I just love Nirvana and God when I touch this thing.
What a weird thing to feel over a watch.
Just kidding. But here,
Hey, this
listen
guy
to it.
took like 3 CBD gummies before.
Where am I right now? I can't see.
That's why he sounded so robotic with his.
Hey, I was just reading.
I'm just giving him shit. He didn't. He's sober. All right. So how about you, Madison? What's the one takeaway?
For me, I was very surprised at the ease and the comfortability that I adapted to wearing it, being a non-watch wearer. I remember in high school trying to wear a watch for various sports, and it was just the most uncomfortable thing I could have possibly put on my body. But this really, I got used to it within about a day or two, and it got to the point where I didn't want to not wear it. And the idea, which I think this is going to be unique to my experience, being that it's a small micro brand based in Austin, but the way it embodied the Austin culture and spirit, I really felt. And I felt like if I were to travel with it, I'd have a piece of home with me no matter where I went. And it's a conversation piece really at the end of the day. So I love that aspect. If somebody were to ask me about it, who was a watch enthusiast, being a rookie that I am, I feel like I'd still have something to bring to the table. So
You can talk
I
their ear
respect
off, Madison. I love it, man.
Yeah. Hey, when I go to Warner Wound, you can come with me to that publication. Actually, when I get hired.
My God, this fucking guy, bro. Holy shit.
that. Rolex, if you're listening, I've got nothing going on in March.
Oh shit. And I guess lastly, Alex, what
Last but surely not least, you know what? If this watch did anything in particular, I've never had a watch this big. Even though my OG Marine Master is technically 44, that motherfucker wears like a 42. Like it really does. Do you know what I'm talking about? What they do with that case. I'm not here to talk about my Marine Master though, but I've always thought is that Panerai was kind of out of the question for me. And this showed me that I enjoyed wearing a watch this big. I did. I really did. And God, I don't know why I keep referencing Panerai. I hope Visitor maybe had some homage to Panerai. Maybe
far as
it
sizing,
really
maybe.
reminds me. Like I don't
I
know
can
what
see
it
that.
is.
I could see that. I could see that.
But it opened my mind to the idea that a bigger watch is not out of the question for me. I'll speak for myself.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Actually, I do want to know because I'm gonna reach out to Visitor if a lot of the inspiration was pulled from fountain pens because now I can't unsee it. Every angle I'm seeing it on the side profile is that of a fountain pen. Aside the micro brands that we have here, I wanted to talk about there's one that came out today on Tuesday, and it was the Orion. Or I don't know how you're supposed to say it. Is it
Orion.
Orion.
Because I say
Like the
Orion.
constellations.
Why do you say that? Okay.
Because you're thinking of Orient.
No, it's 'cause
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just super
Orient.
phonetic, dude.
Orion.
Orion.
I thought it was I thought it was Orion too when I went
Orion.
skiing one year. Everyone's like, "That's Orion," because it was like a ski run.
Uh,
But hey,
Yeah. So talk about the Orion
yeah, there you go.
Tesseract,
think it's-
which has a dial and nameplate and
Oh,
everything.
it's a
made
beautiful
in
dial.
America, 19-piece run.
Fantastic dial.
It's a fantastic dial. I just
And it's
wanted
milled.
to-
It's not laser.
No, it's
cut,
milled.
so-
Yeah, it's hand mailed. It's
In the U.S.
Yeah, in the US. And I just wanted to shout out Nick for doing that. I think it's a ginormous step
Yeah,
towards
send us.
American watchmaking. He actually wanted to be a part of the
Yeah,
project.
tell him to send us one of those 19. We'll give it back.
Yeah, Nick, if you're listening, which I hope you are, we want one of the 19. The purple one.
And put like watch Cringe in the back if you could.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah, I wanted to shout him out on that because I think that legitimately is a big step towards American watchmaking. We haven't had any American watchmakers.
But the movement.
It's a Miyota. But we're not talking about the movement.
Okay,
all right?
okay.
All right. Why you gotta bring that up?
Hey, you got to uncover everything.
Okay, fair point. Yeah, and again, I would like to thank all of the brands that participated with us. Seriously, we appreciate y'all. Vero, DuFrane, Nodus, and Visitor for this episode. There's a couple more that participated, but again, thank you for joining us and being a part of this. I also want to thank y'all, the guests, Madison, Saul, Alex,
Papa Ledoux.
Papa Ledoux.
Papa Ledoux.
What I'll do is I'll also link their social medias. Alex is a realtor, by the way. So if you're in the Austin area,
That's right, baby.
Go ahead.
Real estate is hot.
That's right. I've been
Plug
a
it.
realtor since 2017.
woo!
Keller Williams, Southwest Market Center. You know, sales go up every year. I know everything. I know a hell of a lot more about real estate here in Austin than I do my watch game. I'll say that.
So yeah, we'll post their Instagram accounts. and all of that.
3, 2, 1.
The amount of autism is just through the roof. And I guess that's good. That's
Yeah.
that's
That wraps
episode
it,
10.
guys.
Hey, thanks guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
And we'll
Thank
see you
you.
guys
Thank you.
next episode.